Hello and welcome to The Caregiver's Daughter. I'm your host, Danielle. The holidays are meant to be a time to reflect, to slow down, to notice the goodness around us. But lately, it feels like they've also become a time when people are quicker to judge, to assume motives, to tear things apart, to decide what something means without ever asking why it was done. And this past weekend, that really stayed with me. A home care agency posted a TikTok video. It showed them doing an act of kindness, something simple, something meant to bring a little light, and the response was rough. The comments were harsh. People questioning their intentions, people saying, if you have to film it, it doesn't count. I read through them, and honestly, they made me cringe. The agency ended up taking the post down. I realized this kind of felt personal. Allmed Staffing has a TikTok channel, and I'm the one who creates content for it as often as I can. And let me tell you, that's not easy. Not because filming is hard, but because figuring out how to show the value of caregiving in a 30-second video is hard. How do you show the emotional weight of this work? How do you show the quiet moments that don't look dramatic but mean everything? How do you show that caregivers aren't just doing a job, they're holding families together? There are days I sit there thinking, how do we show that we truly care for the caregivers that work for this company? And how do we show that working for a company like ours, like companies that care, means something? So when I saw the other agency being attacked for trying to show kindness, it hit close to home because I know what goes into the conversations. I know that moment when a group of people say, let's try something, let's show who we really are, let's reflect the heart behind this work. Not for fame, not for money, but because caregivers deserve to be seen. And then my mind went somewhere else. I thought about this comedian I watch on TikTok. He pays for people's groceries, he gives money to strangers, does random acts of kindness, and then films them. He has millions of followers, thousands of comments telling him how inspiring he is. The people receiving the kindness, they don't seem bothered by the camera. They're surprised, they're grateful, they're human. And I started asking myself, why is it celebrated when it's a famous comedian, but criticized when it's a home care agency? The truth is, people in home care aren't doing this work for attention. They're definitely not doing it for money. Anyone in this industry knows that. Home care is demanding. It's emotional. It's deeply personal. And that agency, they weren't chasing a viral moment. They were probably thinking, how do we show that if you come work here, you matter? How do we show that kindness is part of our culture? How do we honor the work that's happening every single day? Because the work is happening every day. We hear the stories. Caregivers cooking full holiday meals so their clients aren't alone. Families doing everything they can to care for loved ones who need extra support during the winter. Caregivers volunteering after work, then showing up again the next morning. People doing so much for others quietly, consistently, without recognition. And yet, we're so quick to judge the attempt to show it. Here's what I keep coming back to. From one person's eyes, one thing is seen. From another person's eyes, something completely different is seen. And we get to choose what we see. We can choose to see attention seeking, or we can choose to see encouragement. We can choose cynicism, or we can choose grace, especially during the holidays. Filming kindness doesn't erase kindness. It doesn't cancel intention. It doesn't make the care less real. Cameras are a part of the world we live in now. Stories are shared digitally, moments are documented. And while it's healthy to question sometimes, it's also important to pause and ask, is this hurting anyone? Or is it reminding people that goodness still exists? Because what concerns me isn't people trying to show kindness. What concerns me is how comfortable we've become tearing people down for trying. So this holiday season, my hope is simple. Before we judge, before we comment, before we assume the worst, let's take a moment. Let's remember that most people are caregiving, are doing work that truly matters. Let's remember that kindness doesn't stop being kindness just because it's visible. And let's choose intentionally to see the good because it's out there everywhere. Sometimes it just needs space to be noticed. This is the Caregiver's Daughter. And if no one's told you lately, the care you give, the compassion you show, and the way you show up, it matters.